Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to start kind of the best and worst products of the year series, and we're going to start out with a bang doing some of the worst makeup of the year. Now that's a little harsh, but these were mostly just products that I wanted more from, or I was just left being disappointed with, and I didn't think they were that great. Now let's be honest, makeup has gotten so good these days. There is so many great products out there, and there's a lot of okay products, but these just fell at the bottom for me. I was not impressed with them, so let's go ahead and get started. I have two foundations that really did not work at all for me this year. Now I know my skin can be a little finicky since I do have more oily skin, and anything that is just too greasy isn't lasting on my skin throughout the day is kind of a fail. But these were by far the worst ones that I tried. First being, you guys already know, the Maybelline Super Stay 24-Hour Skin Tint. I feel like this got very mixed reviews, but this literally has shimmer in the formula, but I end up picking up a lot of sometimes glowy products, at least from the drugstore, to try out because, hey, sometimes a glowy product does work for me here and there, but this was too much. I mean, it does look pretty filter-like when you first put it on, but it looks good for about an hour and then it's all downhill from there for me. It was so greasy. I just feel like this one didn't dry down all the way. I could not wear this past a few hours. I did do a wear test on this one too, and it was just the worst I tried this year for oily skin, at least. But the funny thing is, I've heard so many people with dry skin also do not like this because it dries them out, which is so weird because this has so much glow to it. But I just feel like this is kind of a hit or miss product, mostly miss I feel like, and I just was not a fan. If I'm gonna look for a skin tint at the drugstore, I'm gonna go for the L'Oreal one. That one seems to be the best for me. This one was just not it. I don't need extra shimmer. I don't need too much extra glow, so this just did not work out for oily skin. Definitely a pass. Next one, this is kind of a recent one that I tried. I probably would not have purchased this on my own, but it was sent over. This is from Bare Minerals. This is the Original Pure Serum Radiant Natural Liquid Foundation, one of their newer launches for 2023. And this is interesting. So it's like a serum with pigment or foundation added in, and it literally has the consistency of almost water. So you definitely want to shake well before applying, but you can kind of see like how runny this one is since it is technically like a serum, and it does feel very water-like when you first apply it on the skin, but it has this weird oiliness to it that I just can't get over. I don't know what it is. So it's very thin in consistency, and then it starts drying down really fast, and then I start noticing dry spots, texture, which is weird for me. I don't really notice that too much with foundations, so it doesn't work out. And I feel like with this one, it's just the feeling that gets me. It just does not feel like it sets down. Even with my mattifying powders, it just kind of constantly feels like when I touch my face, it is transferring all over the place, just not setting down, looks cakey. Not cute on the skin, and I looked at the Ulta reviews and a lot of people agree as well. It does not have the best reviews, so that one as well, I would say a pretty disappointing foundation for 2023, and one that I think is just too hit or miss with people that I just don't think it's a good idea to try this one. Next we have some different face products here. So I had to throw in these e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty ones because I wanted more from these. I don't think they're absolutely awful, especially the blushes. I feel like they're fine, but especially with the contours, I wanted more. I mean, e.l.f. did such a good job with their product launches this year. They had duped a lot of popular products, and these were kind of duping Charlotte Tilbury, but I do not feel like these are the same as Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like they are quite different, and I don't know what it is with the drugstore liquid contours these days. I just feel like they are so hard to blend, but I do like how cool this color is. This one is in Fair Light. but I just don't feel like it was flattering on the face. It left a kind of patch. It was patchy. You have to blend it out really fast because these just dry down so quickly. I just don't think I'm a liquid contour kind of girl, and even with the liquid blushes, they're always so finicky for my skin type. But I expected these to be better. I expected to like them just as much as the Charlotte Tilbury, but I do prefer the Charlotte Tilbury contour for sure when it comes to these. I don't know, I was kind of let down. I didn't think they were that great. I think my favorite liquid contour I've tried from the drugstore has been the Milani ones, but of course the Milani ones don't have the best tones in them, so it's just been a bit of a struggle. But I mean, I think the blush, these were okay. The highlights were fine. I mostly just have beef with the contours. There actually was a worse contour though, and that was actually from Flower Beauty. They also came out with a contour one this year, and wow, oh wow, that was a patchy mess. Like that actually I think is a bad product. Like the e.l.f., it's fine. I just expected better, but the Flower, oh my. I did a whole like wear test on it. I'll have to see if I can find the clip trying it, but it was patchy. It would not blend. It dried down so fast. That seems to be the issue with these products, and it was just impossible for me to work with. Definitely the worst bronzer type of product I have tried all year. I do not have it in my collection anymore. It is long gone, but the Flower Beauty contour ones, definitely a skip. I do have a couple blushes as well that I just, you know, it could be better. This is the Pat McGrath. This is their Legendary Glow Color Balm, so their stick blushes that they came out with this year. Now, one of my main gripes with cream blush is when they disappear. This I apply and it's gone within a couple hours, which is so disappointing from a Pat McGrath product. This is a luxury brand. We're supposed to have high performing products, especially at this price. Like, what is this? In the $30 range for a blush stick. Just very disappointing. It does have a very glowy type of formula, but it just seems very sheer. And then when you blend it out on the skin, it disappears to almost nothing. And like, while we have a little color here right now, by the time like you've kind of gone and done some stuff for the past 2 hours, it's gonna disappear off of the face. So for me, that is not worth it. I definitely have better cream blushes on the market that do last all day with my makeup, and that is not it for me. Okay, I also had to mention the Huda Beauty lip blush. So this was kind of a cheek tint, lip tint in one. And not gonna lie, it works good as a lip tint. It actually gives kind of almost this liquid lipstick feel. But it also has the performance of a liquid lipstick where it's ultra dry. So this goes on as a liquid, but it dries down so fast that as soon as you start blending, the dot is already there to stay. Like, don't dot this on because you will be left with circles on your cheeks because it dries down in about 0.5 seconds, maybe even faster than that. It is ridiculous, but in that fact, it does work on the lips, but I mean, I could just use liquid lipstick for that. I don't really need this for it when it's supposed to be for cheeks and lips, but this formula, that's the big problem. If it didn't dry down so quickly, I think it would be an okay product, but I can't be going out with circles on my cheeks. I mean, I just tried it the other day to make sure, and yeah, it sure did the same thing, and I went out like that all day, and my husband kept laughing at me because of my blush. So I think you could apply it by maybe swiping it on your hand and then dipping your brush on top of it, but you still got to work so fast with it. That is just, it's too finicky for me. Like, we need products that perform, don't need extra steps to get to the result. So yeah, it's a no for me. I don't even think I'm going to keep this for the lips because it's just okay. Okay, I have two brow products. They both happen to be drugstore, but I did try the Milani Stay Put Liquid Brow Wax this year. I've been getting really into the brow waxes. I do have a couple favorites from some higher end brands. I haven't really found a really great drugstore one quite yet, but I did try the Milani one because usually Milani stuff works pretty good for me, but this had such a weird texture. It didn't feel like it had that gel like dry down where it gets a little bit hard. That's actually giving the hold to the brows. This one stayed kind of, it's like waxy but not like sticky enough to do much. So I just feel like this really didn't do anything for the brows. It does not hold them up. It doesn't have enough hold in the formula. I think that's the big issue here. So it did nothing. I don't see a point in this product. So I really did not enjoy this brow wax. And then I also tried from Maybelline the Tattoo Studio Brow Styling Gel. And this one I did not really care for either. I don't know if it's the color, but it deposits like too much product. Like it's very liquidy. I was expecting this to be more like Benefit Gimme Brow where, you know, it has a little liquid to it, some fibers, but it's not like straight liquidy. This got too much product on my brows where it just made them look really, really thick and bushy. And it wasn't the look I was going for. The color seems a little bit dark on me as well, but honestly I think that's just because it's depositing too much product. It's too liquidy for a brow gel. So for me it was definitely not great at all. Now I actually try a lot of mascaras that aren't that great, but I would say the worst one this year was definitely from Huda Beauty, the One Coat Wow. And why this was the worst is mostly because of the smudging. Oh my goodness, it gave me like the worst raccoon eyes, just like got all over on my under eyes. Such a mess. And I mean, I do have problems with smudging here and there with mascaras, but like my under eye was completely matte. It just completely transferred, and that's one of just my biggest pet peeves because that kind of just ruins your makeup, and it's annoying when like you're trying to film and then you notice you have mascara smudged everywhere, but you can't tell because you're not like that close to the camera. I don't know, it just makes me angry. It does. I had really high hopes for it because I feel like the formula was nice. It says that you're supposed to be able to do your entire lashes with just one coat, and I thought it worked really well, but I just can't get past the smudging of this mascara. I guess I could just wear it on the top lashes, but again, I don't want to have to make my product work. I mean, it should work on each end, the top lashes, the bottom end, no problem, because I have plenty of mascaras that do. But if you are prone to your mascaras transferring, if you sweat a little bit more, if you're more oily, I would definitely skip on the Huda One Coat Wow. Shall we move on to eyes? We have these Merit Single Shadows. I feel like these are very hit or miss, but for me, they were a miss. I was really excited to get them because everyone started hyping these up, getting them in PR, and I got this one in PR as well. Just one shade in Mid-Century, and I was so excited to use it, and it came with a little brush, and the brush was amazing, but this was not so much amazing. I mean, single shadows are expensive as is. You're just getting one little product, but this, it goes on really nice. I found it easy to blend out. I know some people said it was really dry, but I found it easy to blend out, especially with the brush that it came with. And I really loved the color, but this immediately creased on me and just disappeared so fast. If you're gonna come out with a single shadow that is more high-end, you have to last on the eyes all day. Like, it's a no-brainer. So that was very disappointing to me, mostly just the creasing. It just disappears, so I would not buy another one of these. I really did not like them at all. But I do see what people say with the drying, because now I'm like trying to take it off, and it does dry pretty quickly, so you do have to work fast with it. But I thought that using the brush, the Merit brush, actually like applied it very nicely, but it's just the longevity that got me with this one. Just not a fan. Okay, I do have some eyeshadow palettes here. Let's start with just Too Faced in general. Their newer cardboard palettes that they came out with this year with this new design, I do not like this formula. I don't know what it is. I know Too Faced has always been very hit or miss, and they killed it with their Italian Spritz palette this year. That came out like spring, summer, and then the Cosmo, they had some type of Cosmic palette as well, and then this fall palette, and whatever this cardboard packaging formula is, it's not good. This has definitely gone downhill for Too Faced, and there's a reason why this has already half off on Ulta, because it's not good quality. Nobody wants to pay $50 for drugstore quality when you can spend $50 on indie brands. Like, you can almost buy a Natasha Denona midi palette for that price and get great quality. Like, if you're gonna be charging that much, you have to give us the performance. You can't just charge that much for a couple months and then mark the price half off. If you're gonna skimp on quality, then lower your prices. I'm kind of tired of it at this point. These just popular older brands like Urban Decay, Too Faced, even Tarte, I feel like are all very guilty of this. Their palette starts out full price $50, $60 and then you see it half off in a month or two because you know people aren't buying it for that price because it's not worth that price. So I was pretty disappointed in this formula. Does it work? Yes. Can you make looks with it? Of course, but I mean, the mattes are powdery, they're not pigmented like old Too Faced mattes used to be. The shimmers have like maybe a satin finish, not very much shine to them at all, and they're a little drier in formula than the old Too Faced holiday palettes that used to come out, like the gingerbread ones, the pumpkin spice, and even the old chocolate bar palettes. I don't understand because they released their Italian Spritz in the tin packaging that was great this year and then it just went downhill from there. I want the quality from the Italian Spritz. That's what it needs to be. That's what we need to see because this is just not doing it for them. And then speaking of Tarte, okay, they had some okay palettes this year. Like, I didn't think their Man-Eater Nightfall one was that bad. Is it overpriced? Yes, but I still think it performed fine for me. But I really did not like this one from them. This is the Big Ego palette here. I decided to pick it up because I really liked their Man-Eater After Dark palette from last year. And there's been some decent Tarte palettes in the past, and I wanted to try some more from the brand. Their Juicy palette, you guys know I loved that one, but the shadows are really dusty. There is so much fallout underneath the eyes with these shadows, and the shimmers are just blah to me. The Man-Eater Nightfall definitely has a better formula than whatever this is, but this was just one of the most disappointing palettes I have tried all year. It was so hard to come up with a decent look out of it just because of all the fallout kept getting under my eyes, and I just felt like, it was making such a mess. I just did not think that this was very good either, but it's Tarte, and again, they do run a lot of sales, 40% off, 30% off, so we're not paying full price for their products, I hope. Even their Nightfall palette is half off right now on Ulta. Okay, I do want to mention these two CoverGirl palettes as well. I just was not impressed. I know it's drugstore, I know it's affordable, but I still expect quality even at the drugstore because I know brands that can do it, like Colourpop. LA Girl has great stuff. I know they can do it, and CoverGirl even like jumped the price up on these palettes this year, but these are the CoverGirl Clean Color with the little clouds on them, but I was not impressed with these. I feel like at first I was like, I had hope. I had high hopes because they actually swatch very nice, but then putting them on the eye, the mattes were so hard to blend, and the shimmers just felt, again, very dry and just, they weren't very shiny on the eyes. They're just kind of like, okay. So yeah, I didn't really care for these. I had a lot of problems with blending. I just did not think that these were worth the price jump. I would say the best shadows from CoverGirl are their glitter liquid shadows. Those are great, even though it's just one single color. These, not so much. I hate to put this in here, but I have to because I struggled so bad with this palette. This is the Melt Halloween Town palette with Nightmare Before Christmas. I love the theming of this so much, and I wanted to love this so bad, but Melt shadows just don't always work for me. But I do have a couple Melt palettes that perform great in my collection, like Rust is one of them that is really good. So not all of them are bad for me. I do have a couple that I really love, but I don't know what it was with this one. These mattes were so hard to blend. They were patchy. Their formulas are just too hard to work with for me. I know it's hit or miss with people though. Some of you guys love their formulas, and some of you guys also, they just don't work for you. So I feel like after trying these, I'm kind of like taking a step back from their brand. Like, I know they recently launched a collab with Bailey Sarian, and I decided to pass on that, which I'm glad I did because seeing some people's reviews, I can see the same issue, the patchiness with the mattes, and just they're so pigmented up front, which is great, but then you try to blend it and it just doesn't want to budge. That's my main gripe with them, is their mattes. I do think their shimmers are actually very beautiful, so if they could just come up with like a little creamier formula, I would be really happy. But yeah, I'm taking a break from the brand for now, unless they come out with something that's like a must-have for me, but I don't know, I just don't want to continually get disappointed with them. But they did really such a good job on the theming of this collection, and the other products in the collection are great. Like, they're blushes, highlighters, so it's not all around all a fail. I did end up keeping the Christmas Town palette, but this one is actually being decluttered out of my collection. A blush that I actually forgot to mention with the other blushes because I don't have the product with me anymore, but Revolution came out with balm blushes that were supposed to be kind of dupes for the really popular Jones Road Miracle Balms, which I'm not really a big fan of the Jones Road ones as is because they are just like too glowy for me. But then Revolution tried to dupe them, and they were honestly the worst blush I tried all year. They just left straight like gloss on the face. Like, I feel like there was barely any color as is. It was just sticky, not really blending into the skin, hardly any color, just straight gloss on the cheeks. And I'm like, oh my, definitely can't make this work, especially with my oily skin. The Jones Roads one, don't do that. They're still very glowy, but they do have color to them and they definitely perform better. But I don't know, Revolution tried it, and for me, absolutely failed with that product. Just not a fan, and I feel bad because they sent me like every single color and I decluttered pretty much all of them, gave them away. Hopefully some people found them that do like them, but for me, yikes, that was just literally one of the worst blushes I have tried in my life. I do not want gloss on my cheeks. Next, we're on to lips, and that kind of reminded me of the Revolution because I also have another Revolution product in the lips category. So Revolution came out with these swirl balms, and they were trying to dupe the really popular Givenchy liquid balms from I think last year that were just very popular, and they were honestly one of my favorite products of the year. They're so pretty. They have this beautiful swirl inside, and I love the texture on the lips. It literally feels like a lip balm in a gloss kind of tube. So they tried to kind of dupe that and also make it like a balm formula. They did do the little swirls and everything as well, but they were just waxy feeling. Like, it was so nasty. Like, you would put it on the lips and like you could see little strings when you open your mouth. Like, you could see strings, like they were so thick and gloopy. And then even like the colors just did not have enough pigment, so they, in my mind, were not really a great dupe in the first place, because the Givenchy ones actually do show up on the lips and add a little more color, while these like looked all clear. So they came out with like 4 or 5 shades that all looked the same on the lips. I think they really need to do a little bit of a better job on some of their products that they're trying to do, but I mean, all in all, Revolution does have some hidden gems, but a lot of products I feel like have been kind of missing the mark for me with their launches. Okay, some more lip products. I had to mention these Rhode balms, which, don't get me wrong, I love the Rhode lip balms, just like their regular peptide lip treatments that don't have color. So they came out with color ones later this year, since, you know, the Summer Fridays were so popular, but something is definitely wrong with these. And I'm surprised, I feel like hardly anyone mentions it, but when you put these on, these have little like balls in them. And it's not just mine. A lot of people I've seen have mentioned it here and there. I've seen. I still find people raving about this formula, which I'm just surprised because of how much hate like Jacqueline got with her lip formulas, having weird balls and texture to them when no one's talking about these. I don't know, something was not right within the testing. I don't know how these got approved, because they would have been great if it wasn't for that fact, because I love the lip treatments. But I would say pass on these colored ones. I still feel like they need to perfect these a little bit more, and hopefully they do reformulate them, because I don't want to put my lip product on and then feel like a bunch of little tiny balls in it, you know? It feels weird on the lips. It makes me so sad because I wanted to love these, but I just don't find myself reaching for them because of that fact. I reached for my Summer Fridays, and I just got in the new Salt Air ones, which are so good. Naturiums are really good, but I will say I love just a regular lip treatment like the Salted Caramel. Amazing. Such a good formula, but I don't know how they got it wrong with these more colorful ones. So hopefully they can redo them, or maybe if they come out with new colors, they won't have that issue, because I would totally try them again, but for now, I would say avoid these. Okay, and then I wanted to mention this is from Polite Society Beauty, which is by the old owners of Too Faced. They created a new brand, and I did try a lot of their products. I didn't think it was too bad, but I have to say this lip plumping gloss, I usually don't complain about lip plumpers. Like, they usually don't bother me. Even the Too Faced lip injections, I didn't really have an issue with, but this has to be the most painful lip plumper I have ever used. And while yes, it does work, it does plump up the lips, it's a bit too much for me, which I'm so surprised about. It literally is one of the most tingling needles in your lips type of formula, and I don't really want to use it. I really don't. I could get the same effect from the Too Faced ones. I have quite a few plumping lip glosses on the market, and I don't need one that actually hurts to put on. So I did not like that about this one, even though like the product does work. It does give obviously a nice fuller look because it's really spicy, and spicing those lips up, it does plump them up. But yeah, I can't do it with this. The last product I wanted to include, this is actually skincare, but I'm putting it in the makeup category because you do not want to wear this with makeup. So this is the Fenty Skin Blemish Defeater. It's a BHA spot targeting gel. I saw a couple things about this on TikTok. People would put it on their pimple, let it dry, and then apply like their concealer and foundation over top, and it was like the pimple was not even there. And sometimes with those really bad like cystic under the skin breakouts, it's so hard to cover them up, even using the most high coverage concealer. So I was so excited to try this out, and I just was mostly excited because it was actually like gonna help the skin and not just like concealing something with a concealer that has no skin benefits. This is actually supposed to help target that blemish. So I would put it under the skin, put my concealer on top, and everything seemed fine and dandy until I like started putting my foundation on. If there is any movement in that area, let's say like me, I have like a couple breakouts here. If you have any movement in this area, or if your brush even slightly touches anything, this stuff starts peeling everywhere, and it is a mess. So honestly, I think this is just too finicky to wear under makeup, and I really didn't notice this making a huge difference at all as a spot treatment either, so I honestly wouldn't even recommend it even without makeup. And Fenty themselves actually does recommend it under makeup, so it's not just me using it a way I'm not supposed to. That's actually how they wanted you to use it, and it just does not work that way. So I think that is actually everything I wanted to talk about in this Worst of Beauty video. As you saw, I did include some of my eyeshadow palettes, so I think I'm just going to do like my top 10 palettes of the year. I know last year I did best and worst, but I didn't have 10 worst ones, but these were the worst ones that I definitely tried this year for sure. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know any videos you guys want to see before the end of the year. I'm definitely planning to do, of course, my top favorite makeup products of the year as well. I have some fragrance videos planned too, of course, to go over my favorites and your favorites as well. But I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.